In this review, we are going to look at Evolution. This is the latest in the Evolution series from Diecast Masters, and the subject is the evolution of the Caterpillar 12 motor grader. A sleeve encloses the presentation style box, and it's got a nice hinged top. The first thing we see are two bits of documentation, and we'll have a closer look at those shortly. And when we lift those out, we can see two models sitting in the bottom of the box. The inside is really nicely decorated with reprints of Caterpillar brochures, and there's another plastic former that sits over the top of the models. They are fixed to a plastic display base, and the whole thing just lifts up out of the box. There is just one more bit of packaging left to remove, which you could cut out, but if you ever want to refit it, it's best to undo the screws underneath that secure the models. And of course you can also display the models separately if you want. Let's take a look at the documentation, and the first is a mini brochure of Caterpillar models by Diecast Masters, and you'd need a big display case to look at them all. Also included is a sheet that explains how to get the operator in the cab of the 12M3, but the great thing with this set is this ring-bound book. It charts the history of the Caterpillar 12 motor grader, and just the book on its own is great for anybody interested in a history of machines. It's a nicely researched piece of work with many great photos. There's a little bit of assembly to do on the set, and the first is to fit an umbrella over the operator of the Caterpillar number 12 grader, and that should protect the operator from any rain in the display case. The other thing we can do is to insert the driver in the modern 12M3, and to do that you just take the roof off, stick him in, and then seal the roof back up. For the detail, we'll start with the old timer number 12. And it's got old style tyres and wheels at the front. It's nice that all of the riveted connections have painted heads, and the unusual rake is modelled well, and there is Caterpillar on the main beam. The toothed gearing which holds the blade looks convincing, and the blade itself is simple enough. The operator's area is particularly good. It has the control linkages modelled, and it's nice to see a different style of operator. Up on top, the umbrella has sharp graphics. Moving to the back, and there's an exhaust pipe and air cleaner, and some of the engine detail is highlighted with paint. The rear wheels are detailed, and they have the old-fashioned thin tyres, and at the back the grille is nicely painted. Moving to the modern 12M3, and the lights are on plastic stalks, and as you can see the wheels and tyres have a more modern appearance. There's detailing which includes hydraulic hoses running to the front axle, and there's a heavy pusher assembly at the front. Moving to the circle and mouldboard area, there's plenty of details including more good hydraulics, and there are wear plates on the bottom edge of the blade. There's plenty of detail around the cab including plastic mirrors, and there are windscreen wipers and lights on the roof. On we go to the engine area, and the grills are formed of graphics. There are grab rails and plastic wheel arches, and at the back the grille details are looking good. The 5-tine ripper assembly has sharp teeth, and there are hydraulic hoses too. First up is the old number 12 grader, and it chugs along just as fast as its engine will push it. There is steering at the front axle, and it achieves only a moderate angle, but the other feature it also has is a degree of oscillation, and that works well as it also does on the rear axles. The other functionality on the model is the blade, which can be rotated to any angle. The 12M3 model offers more functionality, and to begin with it rolls well in a straight line, and there's also a moderate steering angle at the front. It's not as much steering as you would hope for, but if you need a little bit more, you can angle across the pivot point. But again, that's really quite restricted on the model. Staying at the front, there is oscillation possible at the front axle, although it doesn't want to stay posed tilted. And at the back, there's also independent oscillation of the rear wheels. The functionality of the mould board is very good, it rotates fully, and you've also got a side shift either way. With some careful manipulation, you can also angle the blade, and there's also a degree of forward and backward tilt. Let's continue to rip through this review, and at the back the ripper goes up and down, and it has a shallow depth of rip. This is another interesting set in the Diecast Masters Evolution series. The presentation is top notch and the book that's included is excellent. And overall this is a really nice way to present the history of a series of machines. So if you're a grader fan and interested in the history, this set is excellent.